What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I put it up. Thanks everybody for supporting. But this video is entitled The Perception of Power. We was doing a brother pill last night in the conversation about power came up. And one of the things I was stating at that particular point is when you perceive a person powerful and another person powerless, you become delusional. What I mean by that is this. I use this example. America is tens of trillions of dollars in debt to China. But people look at white people as still powerful, right? Now, if Africa was tens of trillions of dollars in debt to China, they would be viewed as incompetent. Now, this goes with how you treat people and how you look at people also. Because when you deem somebody better than another person, you get away from the actions, right? So say you put yourself in a situation where money is power. Now, if somebody rich does something you would consider great, it's a great thing. It's a good Samaritan. It's a great thing. But if somebody poor is a good Samaritan, nobody really cares that much. Because since the rich person has more money, the money equals power. Now this is funny in a Christian nation where the story about Jesus and the lady with the alabaster box and with the oils, the scented oils, comes into play. You know, where in religion they say it's not necessarily what you give, it's how much that it costs you to give it. But we perceive somebody as more important than another person. So a rich person's good deeds are higher than a poor person's good deeds because we perceive power differently. Same thing goes for a person you would consider likable. You know, somebody that you like versus somebody that you don't like. You know, people feel like likability is a currency. So if you like a person, they can get away with more than if you don't like a person. But those people could do the exact same thing because of the perception of power. This goes into all forms of society. Attractive people can use their looks as a currency. So they can do something, they can get over because they're attractive. If you're unattractive, you can't do that. You get what I'm saying? Because being unattractive is not really likable in this society. That's because people perceive as powerful different, because if you go out in public with an attractive person, it holds more social currency than if you went out in public with an unattractive person. That's just, you know, this is the world we live in, right? And we don't want to admit this. Same thing. When you see the disparities, say in race and gender, when it comes to crime, people commit the same crime, but they get completely different sentences for it. Why? Because you perceive one group as more valuable than another group. And this is the power of perception. Because what you deem as valuable, or who you deem as valuable, you're going to deem them as more valuable than somebody else. So you're going to deem their actions and intentions as more valuable than everybody else. And the person that you don't value, you're going to devalue their actions, their intentions. Same as intellect, right? The perception, and some of these perceptions are rooted in stereotypes. Some of these perceptions are rooted in actual facts and statistics, because all statistics aren't facts. If you don't notice, the number one rule of statistics is you can skew anything to make any point, meaning you can make numbers say whatever you want them to say, basically. So you're going to assume an Asian person is smarter than a white person, smarter than a black person, smarter than a Hispanic person. So if they tell you something, you're going to take their intellectual information more than anybody else. They assume to be smarter and more logical than people. But the further you go down that list, are you sure that that's the right answer? No matter how smart you are, forget your IQ, forget your resume. The perception is you aren't as smart as this other person. Back in the day, I used to like Armageddon, the movie. And there was a scene where one of the scientists was at a table with one of the military generals, and he was like, this plan came up with such and such made this plan. And the other scientist says, listen, I know who that is. I wouldn't take my plan from a guy who got C in astrophysics in MIT, who got a C in astrophysics at MIT. And then the general was like, oh, because he was in class with the same guy. So that's a problem. But the perception, this same thing that goes into athletics. Perception is power. I could use the reverse. Christian McCaffrey wasn't looked at as he wasn't going to be as good as a running back as the other running backs in his class, though he had the same numbers, same good skills. Me personally, I didn't think he was going to be that good of a professional for a long period of time. Not necessarily because of his speed, height, or color, but because normally good running backs in college have a higher yards per carry average. That's just my opinion. But very versatile. But because he was a white guy running a 4.4, the perception is, he's a white guy who can catch out of the backfield and who's 208 or 220, whatever it is. Not that, a white running back, who's going to take him serious? Is he Toby Gerhart and Peyton Hillis for one good year? What are we doing? That type of thing. Because the perception is he's going to be a bust because he's white playing that position. Same thing when you reverse it to black playing quarterback. Is he that smart? Is he prototypical? Can he handle it? The power is in perception. Also, and all of these things play into basically one thing: competence and value. You see a person that you perceive as better than another person, more competent. That's why people could do dumb stuff if they are perceived as powerful and you won't say a word. Like using the thing I talked about Africa early. If Africa got attacked by Pakistan and said, I can't believe this. We just got attacked by Pakistanis. We gonna bomb the hell out of Thailand. People like, what? Y'all dumb. But this country said people from Saudi Arabia flew planes into New York City and they attacked Iraq. But the perception of power is, oh, they know what they're doing. That doesn't make sense. So like, share, subscribe. Have a good one. Catch you on the next one. We out. Peace.